this is already probably a total failure. That's my concern. I've not even started the podcast, and already I have no confidence that anything I will achieve here will really reshape hearts and minds of Americans. And that's but I'm doing it anyway. Why I'm doing it anyway because I'm in. Sometimes, I really sometimes wonder if I'm manic depressive, because I feel like I'm in this mode this morning of like, yes, I can do anything. I can do anything. You give me any problem, I will solve that problem. Except apparently feeling confident about a podcast. Other than that, you give me any other problem, I will solve it. Traveling faster than the speed of light, give me the equation. Give me the equation. It can't be done. BS. Let me see. E equals MC squared. Right. That's just a suggestion. I'll figure it out. And then I spend half an hour trying to figure it out, and then I get frustrated, and then I get depressed, and then the craving for sugar goes up. Oh, I should say, by the way, I confess that there was a point where I thought I was not addicted to sugar anymore, because I cheated. I've been off of sugar for a month, 2 months actually, and then I cheated over the holidays. Had a piece of cake. Did not like it. It was too dry, and the frosting was it was too artificial. That's the way it tasted to me. And since I have not been eating sugar in the 2 months I've been sober, I've been having more fruit, and I discovered that the natural fruit sugars tasted better to me than the artificial flavor of the cake. And so I said to myself, oh, well, I'm cured. And then 2 days later, I ate a half a box of Armenian pastries, which was delicious, and then my intestines exploded. So the lesson here is I'm a sugar addict. I have been and ever shall be a sugar addict until death, maybe even after death. It could be a problem in the next life, which I don't know what the next life is going to be. I really think the more I watch it, the more I believe that the afterlife is going to be Twin Peaks. I think that's exactly what Twin Peaks is saying. That's what it is. Just a carnival of horrors awaits us in the next life with a surprising amount of velvet. So I'm not so good. I've dashed my confidence early in the day. That's always a good thing. It's a good thing to do that. I mean, I was starting to feel kind of positive, and I put the kibosh on that. And I should never. It's never good when it's never good when I'm in a good mood. It's never good. Things never work out when I'm in a good mood. Because when I'm in a good mood, I start to get talkative, and I'll actually have conversations with people, and it will be during these interactions, during these conversations, where I say something I should not say, and it causes problems. Perfect example, in elementary school, where somebody invites me to a birthday party, and I'm talking about it to somebody else, but I find out that somebody else I'm talking to was not invited to the birthday party, and now I've caused a major emotional trauma in all parties involved. And then I feel bad about it, and I go home and I tell my mother, and she says, you gotta remember not to tell people when you're invited to a party. It causes problems. Don't do that. Why are you doing that? And then I'd cry and then watch something, probably Star Trek, and then go to bed. And that was growing up. And then what I learned is that it's just easier not to talk to people. I just have to, I'm terrified of what I might say. I'm terrified of it. A casual conversation for me has all the weight of a CIA operative working deep cover. I watch every single thing that I say because I don't know what effect it's going to have. I'm doing this podcast. Is this even a podcast technically? I'm yelling into a phone right now. I don't know if that's considered a podcast. I don't know how many downloads I have. I think I'm in negative. I think I'm downloading more than anyone else. And I'm doing this recording. I feel better calling it a recording. I'm doing this recording, and I'm near the Burbank airport, and I'm seeing these airplanes take off very steeply and then make a hard right turn. And I remember overhearing somebody who worked at the airport talk about the steep runways, that I think they've got to make a steep entrance into the airport. And so I see these planes taking off like that, and I get very nervous looking at that. I get nervous at looking at all planes. I get nervous dealing with air travel of any kind. It's also oddly where I get the most spiritual, because what I'll do is if I have to fly somewhere, I look at all the available flights, and I try to kind of divine, or I try to sense with my sixth sense that I suddenly think I have, which of those flights won't crash. Just looking at the screen. I sit there thinking, I got a funny feeling about the 815, 915. That's the one. That's the one where that's the one I'm gonna survive. 915. That's where I'm going. I'd like I'm a Beta Z or Betazoid. Is it Betazoid? Yeah, Beta Z was the name of the planet. Betazoid is what you're called if you're from Beta Z. Oh, it's going to be a long rest of my life. Or not. Or very short. I'm not sure. So there's another plane that's flying that's freaking me out just watching it. I get very nervous even looking at a plane in the sky thinking, we're defying the gods. This can't end well. We're laughing in the face of the gods. We were not given wings. They still make Saturns. I saw a Saturn drive by. I always had a good feeling about the Saturn, which was odd because I'd heard so many bad things about GM vehicles, and then the Saturn came along and it was highly rated, and it had the crumple-resistant doors or the dent-resistant doors, and I never heard anything bad about Saturns. I never heard a Saturn problem, and then they stopped making them Saturns. Maybe that's why, because there's I don't know, maybe a good car company needs a little bit of drama. I'm not sure. I like the name Saturn. It was a cool name, a cool idea. Ooh, Saturn. It's futuristic. Obviously, they couldn't name it Uranus because there'd be a problem there. Unfortunately, because that's the planet that is associated with Aquarius. So I've always had a fascination with Uranus. There you go. Ho! Humor. Now this is a comedy podcast now. But so now I think they got around that by pronouncing it Uranus, which isn't much better. It really isn't. You've just gone from number 2 to number 1 there. So that's pointless. Let's just call it Uranus, which I guess rotates on its side, or its axis is horizontal where it should be vertical, something along those lines. And it's a gas giant that's vaguely turquoise. And that's all we know about it. Who knows? There could be, gaseous life forms living in the planet Uranus. Living in Uranus. Gaseous life forms living in Uranus. There you go! Comedy podcast! I'm feeling like I should wrap this podcast up. I'm not sure what was accomplished here, other than I talked into a microphone. Talking into my phone, gripping my phone a little bit too hard, gripping it because I feel like I'm losing my grip on reality. I really do mean that. I feel like I'm losing control, and I don't know. I feel like I'm going nuts. I really do. I don't feel like I can trust anybody. That's what it is. I don't trust anybody except my parents. And the only reason I trust them is because they're genetically obligated to be good to me. So I trust genetics. That's what it is. Yes, I trust genetics. As a result, I trust my parents, and I don't trust anyone else because I trust genetics. And based on the human genome, no one out there is worth trusting. I don't, it's... on a daily basis, I'm amazed that everybody observes traffic law to the degree that they do, which is not even perfect, especially in Southern California. But I'm still impressed that we observe it as much as we observe it. Considering our human genetics, I'm surprised that more people don't just swerve into oncoming traffic and destroy. Based on our genetics alone, I'm shocked. I really am. Must be that recessive gene. All right, that's enough.